Hello Fortnite Save the World fans, the Perk Recombobulator is finally here and there's been a little confusion on how to use this thing, so I'm going to offer you this tutorial today. It's a new tool that lets you customize weapon and trap perks for even more husk-crushing power. Many older items have to be converted before recombobulation, and by older items they mean the schematics that you picked up before this patch. They are considered legacy items. The recombobulation process will change some existing perks, but if your converted items have free slots, you can choose the new perks yourself. Try it out and perk up that armory. It is nice to have an inventory full of these legacy items because you're going to be able to choose the perks on the free slots as you like them, compared to if the schematic drops after this patch, you're going to have to use resources to change those perks. I'm going to get to that a little bit later. Let's get to using the Perk Recombobulator. Unfortunately, the Perk Recombobulator is not going to be able to be used by new players until they complete Plankerton's Storm Shield Defense 2. Then there's going to be a series of side quests available to give a resource pool to them, so I highly recommend completing those quests. I'm going to go over the resources that are used to upgrade your schematics with the Perk Recombobulator. You're going to see here that there's Legendary Perk-up, Epic Perk-up, Rare Perk-up, and Uncommon Perk-up. Basically, they're going to be used to upgrade the power levels of the perks that you have on your schematics, and each one of those is found in a different area. Uncommon is found in Plankerton and Canny Valley. Rare is found in just Canny Valley. Epic is found in Canny Valley and Twine Peaks. And finally, Legendary is found only in Twine Peaks and is available in the shop right now. So one of the bad drawbacks of that is newer players aren't going to be able to farm the higher level resources, and higher level players are going to have to go into the lower zones to get those resources. And if you want to change one of the elements on your weapons, you're going to need amp up, fire up, or frost up. Now that'll change the perk on your weapon to either water, fire, or nature, and you're going to have to farm those also, unless you have a legacy weapon, basically, and it has a free slot on it. You're going to be able to choose that perk. So it is nice to have some legacy weapons. Let me go into one of my weapons now and show you how the system works. As you can see, guys, I do have a ton of legacy schematics here. I'm going to go down to the Siege Breaker, which I already converted. I'm going to show you how to get into the Perk Recombobulator. You're going to select your weapon. You're going to go to Upgrade Inspect, back to Upgrade again, to Modify Perks. And if it's a legacy item, it's going to ask you if you want to convert it over. It's going to show you the before and after. So if you want to convert it, you can. If you like it the way it is, I highly recommend not converting it, because the perk pools that are available seem to be pretty much the same for all of the slots, and I'm going to show you what they are right now. The first one is, I have 10% crit rating on this, but if I wanted to change that, I could change it to any of the ones offered below, and you could see that it is going to, if I wanted to change the fire rate, it's going to cost me 1,000 re-perk to do that, and the same with damage and crit damage. And as I go through these, it seems like all the slots and all the weapons are pretty much the same. The level 10 perk I have at magazine size right now. You could change it to durability, reload speed, and weapon stability. And also, if you did want to change that to something different, it is going to cost 1,000 re-perk. So once we get into the elements here, you're going to see I have this at energy right now, but if I wanted to change it to fire, here's where the fire up comes into play. You're going to need 1,500 re-perk and also 1,200 fire up to change that from energy to fire, which is a lot of grinding. Let me tell you, they don't give a lot in the missions right now. Hopefully that changes in the future, and so on and so forth with the different elements. You're going to see this one needs amp up to change to nature, and also the 1,500 of the re-perk. Physical does not need anything but the re-perk. And water also needs the re-perk and 1200 frost up. So having legacy items does have an advantage. You're not using these resources to basically change the perks on here. The fourth perk on here now, right now, is at crit damage. I could change it to crit rating, damage, or headshot damage. And again, it's going to cost re-perk to do that. These seem to be the same all the time that I've noticed. There may be one or two different down the line. I'm not 100% sure, but from what I've been seeing, all of these have been the same as I've been going through them for all the different weapons. Now, getting 5 headshots in a row increases ranged weapon damage 30% for 10 seconds. Now, that varies depending on the weapon, when it was dropped. I have a couple different siege breakers where this perk has landed differently than this, and that's uncontrollable and it's unchangeable. So the only thing that made sense to put here was damage to miss monsters and bosses, but there's ones that'll land on that slot that cause affliction, and it makes sense to put damage to afflicted targets on there. And you're going to see basically this slot here is going to determine what's on this slot here. So anyway, guys, I hope I cleared up the confusion there. Now, if I want it to, say I'm satisfied with this now, and I want the crit rating on my level 5 perk, and I want it to upgrade that, this is where the uncommon perk up comes into play. I'm going to need 100 uncommon perk up and also 45 re-perk to upgrade that. And say I like the magazine size, I'm going to need the rare perk up 150 and also the re-perk. And as I'm going down, you're going to see that some of these have the higher rarities on them. To get the epic, I'm going to need 225 and also 95 re-perk. So there you have it with upgrading the different items, changing the different perks, and making the perks a higher rarity. Now, I picked up a few legacy items from the shop that had static rolls, and I'm going to show you on the Hydra and the Hacksaw here what's going on with those. I'm going to go into the Hacksaw, do what I did before, hit upgrade, inspect, hit upgrade, and modify perks. And you're going to notice that these perks are unchangeable. They are only upgradable. It did not have an element on it before, and an element does make a big difference. This was a free slot when I converted it over, and I added nature damage to it, so that was very nice. You're going to see here that none of these are able to be changed, and they are what they are. So the static perk event shop items, you cannot change any of these except for, like I said before, this one did not have any element on it, and I did add nature, made a huge difference in the Hacksaw. I hated the weapon before. I absolutely fell in love with it now. It's one of my go-to weapons. Now, I'm going to take you into the Hydra here, and I'm going to show you what's going on with that. Now, upgrade, modify perks, and you're going to see I can't change any of these on the Hydra at all. They're all locked into what they are. I can make the Hydra better, though, by upgrading these. So the Hydra was great before. It's only going to be better now. What it did do when I did convert it over, though, it did add this 6th perk, which is headshot eliminations, cause an explosion, damaging enemies within a half a tile for 30% weapon damage. So I thought that was cool. So if you're going into your legacy schematics that you got from the event shop that had static rolls on them and notice, hey, I can't change these, you're absolutely right, you're not going crazy. Now I'm going to go over the conversion process in the Perk Recombobulator. I'm going to go to this Terminator here, which is a legacy schematic. It hasn't been converted yet. So we're going to go into Upgrade, Inspect, Upgrade, Modify Perks. It's going to show you the Perk Recombobulator tooltip here. You could not show it again. I kept mine up there just for tutorial purposes. Hit Show Preview. This is the before and after of the Terminator. So if you like it before, and you don't like what's over here, I recommend not changing it. Some weapons, I'm going to say 90% of the weapons, I'm going to say convert them. There are going to be that 10% out there that you might have damage going through all these, or you might have some crazy crit chance, and converting it over is going to get rid of some of that. I don't recommend your favorite weapons that have those really crazy perks on them, converting them over, so keep them out as they are. I am going to convert these, and you're going to see I'm going to get 2 free slots here. I'm going to hit convert right now, and I could change these down the line, but it is going to cost me some re-perk, so I'm stuck with these right now unless I want to use re-perk. But the free slots, pretty cool. I get to pick what's in here, and I think the only thing that makes sense on the Terminator, and everyone's going to have their favorites. I'm going to hit magazine size. It is the Terminator. It has a large magazine size, and having an extra 50% on this is just going to be crazy, so I'm going to hit confirm. Boom! That's in the slot right now. This element I can change down the line. It has energy, so I wasn't able to pick that, so I could change that by using some of my resources, but I'm not going to do that right now. And this free slot, like I was talking about before, is going to be dependent on what's here. Damage dealt with this weapon snares the target by 30% for 6 seconds. So the only thing that's really going to make sense in this slot is 30% damage to slowed and snared targets. So I'm going to pick that right now. Confirm. Now I have a converted weapon where I can change the perks if I want to, but it is going to cost me some resources, and I can level these up right now. I'm going to show you one more thing before this tutorial's over, so let me get to that now. Alright guys, I have some good news and I have some bad news. Okay, the good news is the equalizer. I can actually make this into a siege breaker. Pretty cool, right? But it does have to be converted over from a legacy item. And what you're going to do there is you're going to hit upgrade inspect, and you're going to see the perks that are on here now. You're going to hit upgrade, and you're going to hit increase rarity. Now look over about the perks. It's going to show you it just added causes affliction for 6 seconds. So later on down the line, you may want to switch up some of these. If I didn't have damage to afflicted targets on this 5th perk, I would want to change that over eventually. The bad news is what everybody hates. It's going to cost 100 legendary flux to convert this over to a siege breaker, but it is possible. A lot of the items that are in epic form can be converted to legendary, so really cool addition to the game. And it does add an additional perk slot. I'm going back to the epic version, which is the equalizer here. So good news and bad news. They can be converted. They do get better, but legendary flux. What else can I say there? Anyway, guys, I hope this clears up a lot of confusion for you. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. And again, please like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. If you're enjoying the channel, guys, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's located right down there in the corner. And ask me anything you want in the comments section. I'd be happy to help you out, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.